So yeah, you finished the film, finished initial shoot.
Yeah.
And then, so where were you at then?
Yeah, we basically shot 2/3 of the film. And again, we were waiting to try to land a bigger name for our James Walker character.
Oh, so you shot without
we had like several scenes.
We purposely shot without an entire character, and we had planned 4 or 5 days on a pickup.
So the idea was to show the footage and then be like, oh my goodness, I got to be in this.
Raise more money. I mean, it was COVID. Things were just really wonky at that time, you know, and it's like, it was
Did you start shooting before COVID or during COVID?
We shot during COVID, but it was at the end of the summer/fall. It was like September, and it was when Utah had like the yellow zone or whatever. And so it's like limited amount of people were allowed to, be in a room at the same time. And we were all wearing masks, and we were shooting outdoors mostly. And it was okay to like not wear masks outside at the time. I think
Disney had brought like one show back to Utah at that time. So some of the people we had talked to were like, oh, I'm getting on this Disney shoot. I'm finally working again. So the work was opening up. But yeah, we shot all that 2020. And then it was like, we were basically just waiting to try to find the right person to play, James Walker, who's the main character's dad. And at a certain point, we're like, let's just finish this film. And so it was like June or July of 2021, where we're just like, we're going to set a date and let's cast an actor and let's go. And we got Jason Wade to come in, play this character. And it was great. I was like, let's get a Utah guy in here to play a Utah movie and let's just go. And so we finished shooting. Okay. And it was about, it was June or July. We did some other like skeleton pickup stuff, Renny, myself, or like me and like one other, like an aerial, cam or whatever it needed to be. And I actually, technically the last thing we shot was like in February of 2022, if we're talking like pickup-y days. But really, we filled out everything by July. And then it was about 2 years of visual effects and post-production until we finished it. We finished it in the summer of 23. So,
oh my goodness.
End of 2023. Yeah.
2023. Well, that's an odyssey. That really is.
Yeah.
That really is. So, okay. So you finished it, and then where do you go from there?
Then the work begins.
No, it's true. Like to me, a movie, people think it's like, I don't know. I've gotten these percentages mixed up before, so I'm going to try to be better about this time. People think it's like 10% pre-production, 80% shoot, 10% post.
Yeah, no.
But that's not. It's really like maybe a third on each.
Yeah.
Or maybe even the shoot is actually the easiest part of the whole movie. Weirdly, but that's what everyone thinks.
In our case, we definitely spent the most amount of time in post-production. And I have to give Boston a ton of props here, because I went off and worked a full-time job really to support the movie. And Boston was day in, day out editing and doing visual effects and really managing the post-production on the film. Yeah. Something that was really special is we did pick almost every take together. Like we edited the movie together, except for like the big action sequences. We really, especially any of the scenes with me in them. Yeah. Sure. The bonus of being a producer on your own film is you get to pick your own takes, which was an incredible process. And there were really some, I think people might be surprised when they watch this movie. It's funny, it's campy, it's action, but it also has a lot of heart. And I think, I hope that my touch helped, embrace that heart and bring that heart to life, both in the screenwriting process as well as in the editing process. And that's something probably not a lot of people know, is that like I also helped with the edit, but Boston took on the heavy lifting with really like taking on post-production and managing it for 2 years. And even with the visual effects, like we had just the visual effects scale and scope ballooned. And at the end of the day, like he had to jump on the bandwagon and like literally do about half of the visual effects himself.
He did, like with what program?
So I like my weapon of choice, like compositing wise and all that, was Adobe After Effects. And so
you're able to do it with After Effects though. That's good.
So I did all my compositing work in After Effects, but we did a lot of the creature renders and things like that. That was done in Maya. Yeah. And so it was there's a proper
well, then you're in hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hardcore.
Yeah. So we had a visual effects team, and that company actually in the middle of making the movie actually went out of business, which is like, it was, both COVID and a number of other things that kind of like took them out. Oh, geez, yeah. And so that was really hard.
But, I think I know the company you're talking about.
Yeah. But it was, and it's Fourth Wall Effects, and they're credited, and they were great. They were great. They did some great work. But ultimately
COVID was a hard time for everybody in production. And so there you have it. So,
and I loved the process of being able to collaborate with amazing artists, and they brought in artists from around the world too, people they'd worked with at Weta. And so it was really great. Yeah. But when she says a scope balloon, we had 150 effects shots. when we were first planning it. And I knew this, and everyone talks about, if you're making a film, think about how Jaws, and it's like this almost cliche thing I've heard 100 people say. It's like the shark was scarier because you couldn't see it.
Signs.
And I'm like, or Signs, it's scary. Literally, when I think about the movie Signs, I only remember the creature shots, and there's like 6 of them.
Yeah.
And it was like, but that's good. That's really cool. And that's a one way to do it. And yet we didn't write this film that way. And then when we started showing it, we had a couple people, and they're like, if you want to sell a sci-fi film, show us that dang creature, man.
Okay.
And so, we did, and we started to scale up stuff. By the end, we were, the creature shots didn't necessarily become that much more, but by the end we had 450 visual effects shots. So we went from 150 to 450.
Wow.
And I ended up doing about 250 by myself. So
really?
And we had a kid.
Oh yeah.
And I went back to work after 10 weeks.
And
so
you had a baby? Oh my goodness.
And so when we're talking about like visual effects, he's like doing this in between nap time and like feedings and stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Or she was small enough I could have her in my lap while I'm on, editing on my laptop or something. So
it's a lot harder now that she's a toddler and has a voice and will, but like,
and feet, legs to take her get into trouble.
Yeah.
Starts walking around.
But yeah, I mean, we finished in August of 2020.
Yeah, that was after. So we were doing
officially?
sound. I think sound and music, color finished like August, but the film we started showing it early that summer, July, or things like that, and it was we're getting good reactions. We founded a sales rep and distribution partner by October.
Wow,
so,
good for you.
At a little festival called Film Quest.
Yeah.
Neat. Shout out to them. We found our sales rep. We actually were shopping the movie around and to quite a few sales reps. Like, people wanted the film. People wanted to rep our movie. And so
which is unique because we hadn't even played festivals at all. We were finishing the film.
Yeah.
And this is a thing I wish we really understood or knew. Most genre festivals are happening in the fall. So we missed the 2023 window of being, playing a bunch of festivals, which was a real bummer. So one thing I wish I could do again was reach out to those genre fests as we were finishing that summer and be like, hey, let me show you a cut. It sounds a rough mix, but you'll get it. Sound should be done in August. And we might have played, 4 or 5 more festivals or launched our festival run a little bit sooner. And that would have been a good thing marketing wise. Cause literally by the time October hit, we were at Film Quest, just to go. I went to like watch films and stuff. And I met this sales rep. They started selling our film internationally. We started making sales that fall and winter and selling to territories around the world. And so when you're doing that, you have to tell them the film is going to be released a certain date. So our festival run actually got pushed to the next year.
Yeah. We ended up playing festivals the next fall and summer, like at the end of August, I think, or middle of August. We ended up going to Flicker's Rhode Island International Film Festival, which at first we were like, what is this festival? But, we get there and it's a 42-year-old festival that, nominates like movies to go to the Oscars. We saw people like literally, and BAFTAs and BAFTA qualifying. And so we were really, really thrilled and honored to be there. But honestly, we went like 9 months or something, or 6 months without knowing if we were going to do festivals at all. Yeah. And like just getting a bunch of rejections and, we missed the previous genre, season. And then we were able to play it. What did we do?
We did four festivals like in 2 months, and then the film was released. So it was like by the time we did our premiere at Flicker's, we did a horror festival in southern Utah, and then we played at Fright Fest, which is a huge festival in the UK,
and then Trieste,
and Trieste Science and Fiction, which was like it was magic. It's everything a filmmaker wants. We're in Italy. They have these like giant venues and opera houses, and films are playing, and you're just like the audience and like Italian people are laughing at your movie, and it's great.
That's awesome.
And in the middle of that, we decided to do, a Utah local theatrical premiere for ourselves, basically for the cast and crew and friends and family. And what's crazy is we'd been screening this film as a test for probably a couple years, and so I was actually a little nervous that people wouldn't show up to the our official red carpet premiere because we had kind of tapped out our network, but we sold out a 500-person theater.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, it was fun.
500-seat theater, and then we screened in LA a couple days later, and that one also went really well. And since then, we've just been, the movie's out, and we are just continuing our efforts to market.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, that's great.
We're indie filmmakers, and
that's a full journey. Do you